Hello, it's the other Maria here with Art School of SF Bay, and today we're going to be doing a project inspired by David Hockney. He was an important artist of the 20th century and had a lot of involvement in the pop art movement. His paintings are known for their bright and vibrant color palettes, and some of his most famous works include his paintings of swimming pools, as you can see here. Since we're going to be using colored pencils today, here are some examples of Hockney's colored pencil works. As you can see, they are really loose with vibrant colors, and he varied the amount of detail he put into certain parts of the drawing. Colored pencils are actually a very versatile medium, where you can easily vary the thickness or texture in one piece along with the brightness, and you can have varying levels of realism and detail. Here's a couple examples where the texture is more thick and the style is more realistic. When portraying animals, a crucial part is capturing the texture of the animal's skin or fur, as well as the body language made using shapes and movement. Colored pencils are extremely flexible, so you can create any texture while also adding your own style and personality to it. But before we try to draw the outside appearance of an animal, we first have to understand its anatomy. When we look at this comparison of a human and a dog, we see that they're actually not that different. Though their proportions are different, our skeletal system is basically the same. A dog's wrist and heel is up in the air, while its fingers and toes, which are directly below them, are on the ground. Its shoulder blade also goes on the side of its body, whereas ours are just on our back. And its point of the shoulder juts out forward and low, while ours is pretty much parallel to the shoulder blade. A dog's elbow and knee is also much closer to its body than humans, but its lower arm and lower leg are much longer. Though some types of dogs are bred to look differently, a dog's skull is also, in comparison, much smaller and much longer than ours. A horse's anatomy is really similar to that of a dog's, but a major difference is that its hooves, which are basically its toes and fingers, jut out more forward. And then there's the more obvious things, such as the shorter spine and the larger size. And here's the anatomy of a big cat. As you can see, the anatomy of most human-sized mammals is almost the same. So this is the reference I'm going to be using today. It's really important when choosing a reference to find one that has, even though it can have interesting lighting, it needs to give a clear idea of the shapes and the anatomy of what you're. Sorry for the awkward camera angle at the beginning here, but to start off, I'm just going to be drawing a big silhouette of pretty much showing the space that the tiger is going to be taking up. I don't want to start with any details, I just want to have a few gestured lines to show where the limbs will be. And now I'm going to be starting with the actual anatomy, starting with the shoulder blades and pelvis, and then moving on to like the elbows, knees, wrists, ankles, all that. I'm still keeping it very vague and fixing any proportions that I notice are wrong as I go. So after fixing the legs, I'm gonna go in and actually start adding meat to these bones. I basically start with the silhouette and then I just slowly add more detail to the actual shapes of the muscles. You want to kind of work on everything all at once. You don't want to focus on one specific place and add a lot of detail to that. When you work on everything at once, it helps keep the proportions accurate. Now that I accurately placed all the muscles, I'm going to start erasing the underdrawing and just adding details bit by bit. Now that my pencil drawing is done, I'm going to go in with a kneaded eraser and erase as much of the graphite as I can. That'll make the colored pencil less muddy. So you want to leave the lightest or white parts with as little colored pencil or even no colored pencil possible. So I'm going to go with a pretty light pencil and just kind of do a first base of color. So with colored pencils, you can actually blend them by just layering them over each other. So here I am using yellows and oranges to add a first base of color to the tiger, and I'm coming in with browns as well to add shadows. And all my strokes are in the direction of the fur, and by doing this, you will actually create the texture of the fur. And when you do your strokes in the direction of the fur, it actually also creates three-dimensionality because it shows kind of the curvature of the fur around the muscles, but it's still necessary to add darkness with darker colors to show those shadows and to create that shape. So now I'm ready to add the black details and stripes, and these will actually help create a lot of shape as well because you can see the curvature of the stripes, and it will also help reinforce the texture of the fur. Now I'm just going to add finishing details and the warm backlight from the sun.